أهلا السلام عليكم. Welcome to you. I hope everybody is doing well. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. مدد يا سيدي دستور يا رجال الله. Today, I was thinking we may share together about one pillar point or foundational point about growing and maturing and being on the right direction. It has to do with memory. It has to do with remembering a human being is forgetful by nature. And we said before that remembrance, dhikrullah, is meant to remind us of our fundamental innate program in us. But today's talking about memory is really on totally another level, from another side. A human, to move, we need a general perspective. And this perspective is built before our connection to truth, our realization, is built on the way our perspective, our path is built on the way we see ourselves, we understand our world, and we imagine our world. How we imagine ourselves, because really we don't see ourselves. We imagine, we have an idea of ourselves, we have an idea of the world, we have an idea of our roots, we have an idea of our environment. We imagine an idea about the divine. And this is actually why there is the revelation, the tradition of teaching, the tradition of informing us and helping us how we should see ourselves and our world. But from the very beginning, in this duality we live into, there's good and bad, and there is truth and false, there's true and false. Negative forces, or forces which have interest into controlling us, manipulating us, using us, they have vested interest into us forgetting who we are. They have vested interest that we don't imagine ourselves the right way. So what is better than making us to forget our memory, to forget our history, to forget our past, so we cannot imagine our future. And therefore, one of evils, let's call this negative side, negative force, let's call it evil. One of evil's favorite methods from the beginning of history is rewriting our history. In fact, for the symbol of the Antichrist, and in Islam we call Dajjal, Al-Dajjal Al-Mumawwih, Dajjal, Dajjala means to tamwih. Uh, how you call it in English? You know when the soldiers dress like forest colors?
Camouflage.
Camouflage. Dajjal in Arabic, the optimum of evil and the optimum of um, anti-human, anti-divine, anti-history being. His name in Arabic is Ad-Dajjal, the one who makes camouflage, the one who plays with images, the one who re-edits images. Obviously, it makes us to think about the medias today and about Hollywood, Bollywood, about the play of imagery, the play of publicity, public, in the public space, imagery. But to go back to our subject in a more focused way, history of humanity being rewritten, your history being rewritten, your history being rewritten, your history being rewritten. And history is rewritten to the level of its importance. So, for instance, history of the revelation, history of real memory, being rewritten many times is like layers of rewriting to make it for the diggers as difficult as possible not to arrive to the truth of the matter. Once somebody asked me, what is Sufism? What is Islam? What is the revelation? I don't know. It is first keeping the right memory. First, keeping the right memory. Then it tells us about our direction. Then it tells us how to invest and how to manage our present. So nobody on face of this earth, nobody had their history rewritten more than the believers. And within the believers, nobody had their history rewritten like Muslims. And their vast majority, 95%, which is Sunni Muslims. And within Muslims, nobody had their history rewritten like the big masters of Sufism, big masters of the spiritual, teaching the spiritual heart of Islam, which is the teaching of realization and the teaching of this eternal. So is an eternal perspective of who is a human and what is success for human, what is realization, what is true success. So I'm surprised always to see now in Western countries, especially, and sometimes talking or listening to Muslim youth, especially, people going back to spiritual interest and studying, and but they don't realize how much rewritten stuff they are repeating all the time. Because Shaitan says, if I can't get all of you, I can get part of you. If I can't get part of you, I can at least slow you down. If I can slow you down, I can at least get you confused about one issue. So that's why the importance of following a teacher and following knowledgeable teacher and following lordly Muhammadi, we say, or Rabbani teacher who is a good man of Allah, a good person, man or lady of Allah. Because without them, reading from books, in the rewriting of memory, rewriting of our memory, writing of history, we find even books. Say Sheikh Muhammad ibn Arabi, radiallahu anhu, may Allah be pleased with him, one of the archetypal great Sufi teachers. You may find even the book reprinted with parts removed or changed in it. Yani not only it can send you to the wrong direction. If you go in the right direction, it may change parts of your direction. So you say, okay, I want to study Islam. Then they make all these Islams. There's so many variations now. So many packaging. And then you say, and I want to find the right one. I want spiritual Islam, spiritual Sufi way. Then they make you all these, I call it always, the folklore, creating a folklore. And it's the same mechanism. You know how Jesus, peace upon him, how he taught and how things change after him. And change again and change again. Same thing happens with Islam, but with more focused energy, because Islam is the last message of the revelation and the final one. There will not be another correction. So, colonialism in Islamic land had as first function rewriting the history, changing the social organic fabric, rewriting the pedagogy, changing the education system, which is the education system is the reproduction. When education is defined as a reproduction of ideology, education is reproduction of how society sees itself or where society wants to go. So there is a rewriting of human history, and within it, more intensive rewriting of spiritual history, and within it, rewriting of the last revelation history. First of all, breaking the revelation, so is presented as entities fighting each other, and then coming to the last one, the updated, complete one, and not being able to write the core of that one, because Allah Azza wa Jal promises, Holy Quran, we verily sent you the teaching and we will be protecting it. We will be keeping it, guarding it. So how they cannot change the source of teaching, they change the way we see the teaching, moving us away, making us to look somewhere else. Bringing new paradigm, bringing new interpretations, bringing materialistic interpretation, bringing mechanistic interpretations, bringing arithmetic interpretation by opposition to the multidimensionality of the revelation. Arithmetic that is linear or materialistic, materialistic interpretation, materialistic uh, reading. Then come to Muslim, to traditional societies, break them, change their traditions, then come into the traditions, redefine them, then bringing people from outside, telling you how you should see yourself, how you should see your traditions, that you should absolutely change to this market society. Then market society put different power structures and different ideological structures. And so all these are layers of rewriting. So if you are able to remember yourself, you forget who is your father and mother. If you are able to remember them, you forget who are your grandparents. If you remember them, you're in the village, you forget what is your environment, natural environment. If you remember that, make it to forget what is your, where are you going, where have you been, which tools you should use. And you see now, subhanAllah, I think the other day, Corona is such a gift to humanity because a sub, the smallest, and it's not even a living cell. It goes into the cell to live on it. But the virus is not a living cell. It's some kind of protein or some kind of. And this was able in few weeks, in 4 6 weeks, to unmask, unmask the total fallacy and the total, to be nice, we say childish, Sibiani, the childish program into which humanity was pushed. And it puts in contrast with how far we moved away from our memory. It's really big subject. We can speak about it many hours, but I want to go back to one point because it's a heartbreaking, in truth, heartbreaking point. Because we say in Arabic, yani, worse than dying by thirst in the desert is to go and find the water and not to drink, and to die by the water while it is there. It's the question of the youth now finding a connection, but not understanding that the job is a lot much bigger, and the necessity to find a good teacher, and that good teachers are not many. And as so many people have the title of teachers, but good teachers are not many. Is to finally out to understand, I have to connect to tradition with capital T, and tradition, the Guénon meaning, the tradition as the roots. I have to connect to the roots. I have to understand. Then we get caught into body of information that is, it has partial truth, so you may trust it, but it is meant to never let you get to real truth. And this is so, you talk to people that they tell you about stuff they read, and sometimes it's not sarcastically, but humoristically, I call it, you know, it's 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 uh, it's book information or online information, and because people and this information will not take you much far, and especially because we are tainted by many bad qualities of our time and bad qualities of the formatting, the social formatting was submitted to. We we want to grab because we still, we did not have a training. We did not work on our egos. We did not work on our growth. We did not work on our maturity. We did not work on our truth. So we want to grab, and we don't know what it means. We don't know what it means to follow ways of truth with people of truth. And we don't know why people insist, teachers insist, that humility and humbleness are the first condition that, to be silent and stay back. Many people actually dishing information as teachers. I see so many of them in our time. Many of them, it's they gained some information here and there on Wikipedia and some books and went to some teaching place for 1 year or two, or sat with one teacher here or there, and they're creating a whole body of folkloric information. This body is replacing even the other rewriting of history by adding another layer of false real history. Like false money to replace real money. So while the rewriting of history was used many tools, but I find this we have to be really careful now, more even than before, because many of the alternatives will lead us right into the problem we want to run away from. Many alternatives, many creeks taking us right into the furnace. Said creeks, water, because we use water against fire, but that water will take you right into the fire. So we can talk more, as I said, and about specific rewriting of history of specific areas of the world and specific levels of society and specific branches of knowledge and specific. It's all this, and and in fact, people like Maulana Sheikh Nazim, you see his picture behind me, we're in his presence always. Their main role was rebirthing of memory, of real memory in us. They are the place where real memory resides. And therefore, real present can be managed and real future can be defined. That's the place. So for us, the importance of being careful that if truth is so precious, don't think this like you're looking for some precious food for healing, and you just pick up the first fast food you find and the first images. Sometimes not even fast food, is pictures of food, and you start eating them. It does not make sense. It's only images or fake food. Because truth is precious, and therefore its healing food is precious to find. So you have to look for it, and you have to have the attributes, and first of all, attribute of humility, humbleness. And we can have an easy equation. Teachers, why most teachers in Arabic we call them sheikh? Sheikh means uh, literally means the very old person. And in Turks, actually, they call them aksakal, white beards. Ladies and men teachers. Why so? Because it takes all that time, first of all, to realize that in us, then to show it and share it with others. So, young people, generally, they're still in the process of learning. I see now so many teachers, all of them quite young. It's good. Means there is effort and there's intention to learn, but don't sit as a teacher. You are making um, people to have only a limited or partial solution. And sometimes a limited or partial solution may be the fastest key to block us from real solutions. So it's also shared responsibility. It's shared responsibility for the seeker and for those who are teaching. Not to be part of the problem, no, to be strong seekers of the solution. ومن الله التوفيق الفاتحة. May this, the blessing of this sharing be presented to the souls of our teachers, our parents, especially to the souls of Rasulullah and his inheritors, men and women of good intention, especially our Sheikh, Mawlana Sheikh Nazir Haqqani, Sayyidi Muhammad Rabbani. And in this time, we pray for whole humanity to be blessed and healed and guided. And for Allah Azza wa Jal to give us the gift to open our hearts to understand the real purpose of our existence and the real direction to connect to that real existence. And we read Fatiha for the intention to be given these gifts. Al-Fatiha. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.